interesting problem, problem number 1321, restaurant group. This problem was asked in point 72. We are given with customer table which contains customer ID, name, visited on and amount. So here customer ID and visited on is the primary key for this table. This table contains data about customer transactions in a restaurant. Visited on is the date on which the customer with customer ID has visited the restaurant. Amount is the total amount paid by a customer. You are the restaurant owner and you want to analyze a possible expansion. There will be at least one customer every day. Write an SQL query to compute the moving average of how much the customer paid in a 7 days window. That is current day plus 6 days before. Average amount should be rounded to 2 decimal places. Return result table ordered by visited on in ascending order. Let's understand this problem statement with this example here. If you look at this customer table, we are given for each day what is the total amount paid by each user with ID, right? We need to find the moving sum and moving average in a window of 7 days. If, for example, if you look at this 2019-17, this will be our output from the first window. Why? Because if you consider this as a current row 150 and this will be our previous 6 days of data. So in total it will be 7 days, right? So we just need to sum all these things. That will be our moving sum for this day 2019-17. For 2019-18, our moving sum for within the window of 7 days is 80 plus previous 6 days of sum, starting from 110 till 150. The same goes for other dates. So this is the problem that we need to find the moving sum and moving average within a window of 7 days. We need to round the decimal places to 2 digit. We need to print the output in ascending order. That's the problem statement. I have created a DDL statement and I will put it in the description box. You can make use of those and practice. So before solving or writing our query, let's figure out the logic to solve this problem. We'll do step by step. I'll just put steps here. Our first step, if you look at this data, we have 2019 1, 2, 3, 4. But here, if you look at, we have 2 rows for same day. So there may be a possibility that we know more than one customer can visit on the same day, right? In this case, what we can do, let's group the data by visited on such that our output should contain one date for one row for one date. That's our first step. Let's group by visited on. That's our first step. Second step, as I told you, we just need to print the data with a window of 7 days, right? So our window starts here and it'll keep on going. So how we can figure out that we need to print from here? The simple logic is to calculate the minimum visited date from this table, which is 2019 1. And if you consider this is the current row 2019 17, the date difference between the current date and the minimum date should be greater than or equals to 6. So to do this, we need to find min visited date. That's our second step. Third step is simple, figuring out the sum and average. And fourth step is to order the result. So let's try to write a query for this program with grouped data. We name this as grouped data CTE. Here I'll select visitor on, and we'll find minimum visitor on over this table, right? So we'll put over here as min date and sum of amount millimeters amount from customer table. Here we group by customer. I print this grouped data output. data. If you look here, we have each like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have got a desired output. For each date, we have one row, and we have aggregated the amount here, and we have calculated the minimum date, which is 2019 1, 1. Now let's try to find the moving sum and moving average in a window of 7 days. In order to do this, let's understand how this preceding following works here. If we let's consider this as the current row. Let's assume our cursor is pointing to this row, right? So there are two conditions, right? Either I can go prior to this current row, or I can go, post this current row, which is nothing but this complete range, right? So if you want to go before the current row, then we'll call it as preceding. If you want to go after the current row, that we'll consider it as following. If I want to consider only two rows before from the current row, then what I mean how I can mention it's like two rows preceding and current row. The same if I want to consider only two rows after the current row, then two rows following and current row. That's one scenario. And there may be a scenarios where you need to consider the complete row before the current row. In that case, we'll be putting unbounded preceding and current row. Unbounded preceding will take all the rows before the current row. And the same, if you want to include all the rows after the current row, then we'll be having unbounded following. Right? This is the difference between n rows preceding and unbounded following. So with this concept, we'll try to find the moving sum and moving average. Here, let me select reset on, and we'll just do sum of amount over a window of 7 days, right? So here I'll just put rows between 6 preceding and current row. This will sum the amount with a window of 7 days. I'll name this as total amount, and the same goes for average of amount over rows between 6 preceding and current row. Here I'll just moving average, and the same will name it moving sum. I'll print this output. Here you can see we have calculated the moving sum and the moving average, and let's round this average to two decimal places. So we have got the desired output, but we just need to print uh, from 2019 117, right? So I'll name this as intermediate CTE. Now let's select the second moving and moving average from temp, where date is settled on, and min date. So let's select min date also in the CTE so that we can make use of it here. It should be greater than or equals 6. Cool. If you look here, we have just starting from this window, which is 2019-1-7, and it will goes on till the last row, which is 2019-1-10, and we have calculated the moving sum and moving average. The last step, let's order by visitor on. So this is the output. I hope this video is helpful.